Hey everybody, it's Marlon. Welcome to the channel, Marlon's 420. Before we get into the show tonight, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who sent me messages and everything about the last video I did. Conrad Kurz and his just absolute beast of a self, powered by insanity. That dude is one dangerous motherfucker and not somebody I'd want to deal with. And that was the point of that video, and a lot of y'all agreed, so I really appreciate that. I mentioned that I was thinking about doing like a weed and Warhammer thing Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday. This is weed. But the thing is, I don't know exactly how to incorporate it. I was thinking about doing like a beginning of the show, like right this second, like, hey guys, I'm smoking on the Big Chief triple scoops from Cali tonight, and it tastes absolutely amazing. What are you boys and girls smoking on this evening? And then y'all let everybody else know what you're smoking on. And then in the comment section, we can talk about that and Warhammer if we want to. And people can do that. And we can find new products and all kinds of cool shit, right? So let's do that. I'm smoking on the Big Chief triple loops. This stuff is absolutely fucking amazing. Super strong and super tasty. Sort of like the book we're about to get into. I wanted to talk tonight about the the book A Thousand Suns. It's the first time we see excuse me. It's the first time that we see the space wolves in the series, in the Horus Heresy series, in a really big way. And I've talked to quite a few people on Reddit and other places about this since I started reading the series myself. With Luton and Major Kill, those are the two big names that I've listened to coming up and watching and learning and then reading on Reddit. The Space Wolves in 40K are sort of like a fan favorite. And a lot of people seem to really enjoy their stories and like them. But for me, having been reading about them and getting all my information from the Horus Heresy after I started getting into Warhammer with Luton 09 and Major Kill, reading about them and then trying to square the two from 40K and 30K, it was just really hard to do. Because in 30K, Lehman Russ and the Space Wolves are gigantic, annoying, hypocritical, dick-headed assholes, like from top to bottom. And I thought that they were gonna be slightly cool, whatever. When in the Thousand Suns, there's one particular in the book. There's one particular space wolf psyker. It's a very strong psyker, and his name was Othere Weirdmake. Weirdmake being one of their things, how they describe psychers for their legion. And the weird, the Lehman Russ said it's like a fate when he was explaining it to Horus. So, anyways, he's called Othere Weirdmake. And him and Ahriman from the Thousand Suns, Magnus's right hand, actually seemed like they got along very well to begin with. You know, they were even traveling the warp together. And that was the first time when I was like, hold up. Everybody has always said, or at least the Space Wolves have always said, that their magics, their psychic abilities are born from their planet, right? Born from where they come from. But if that was the case, how was his powers and Ahriman's powers both connecting them to the warp? If Fenris was the source of all their power, how does it always come back to being channeled through the warp? I just don't get it. And right off the bat, that's like a contradiction, you know? So anyways, Othere Weirdmake spends a good long amount of time actually learning about Ahriman and the Thousand Suns and how they're going to operate and how they practice their warp abilities and perform their magic or their rituals or whatever. And he even shows Ahriman a little bit. But the hypocritical fuckhead, I think almost all of it, if not every single piece of what out there Weirdmake was doing, was kinda to set up Ahriman and Magnus and the Thousand Sons for the Council of Nicaea. I think that Lehman Russ already had a bung up his asshole about that and wanted to see, where that was going to go. And talking about Lehman Russ, by the way, this is a dude who is absolutely dripping with the warp. I mean, we don't talk about Lehman Russ being psychic-y and warpy very often, but this dude is, I think, once he comes back from in 40K from the warp and unlocks his powers and stuff, who knows? He is very likely one of the strongest psychers out of them all. And that's just more hypocrisy from him, obviously. And I'll make my case. When they are on, when they're fighting the Thousand Sons towards the end of 1,000 Suns on Prospero, there comes a point where the Space Wolves and Matt and Lehman Russ are trying to push through the Space Wolves who are guarding one last area. No, I'm sorry, this was not on Prospero. This was on another planet that they were both trying to bring to heel. I apologize. So anyways, the Space Wolves are trying to go through them. And at some point, Lehman Russ gets super frustrated and he starts letting out this psychic scream or psychic howl. And it kills dozens of the Thousand Sons. The psychic Thousand Sons, like the ones who psychically communicate, the ones whose techniques are bent is to read people's thoughts and minds and that type of thing. As soon as they feel that mental presence and force of Lehman Russ and that psychic scream, dozens of them die instantly. It is an absolute fucking massacre. And that's like one of the things that drives them so far apart after this. And then when they get to the Council of Nicaea, and Othir Weirdmake is with Lehman Russ, and Ahriman is with Magnus, obviously. And at one point, Ahriman looks over and sees Othir Weirdmake and instantly knows, this dude has set us up. He's a traitor to us. He's about to get up and condemn us for everything we've done. And that is exactly what Weirdmake did. He gets up and he says, I've seen their evil magic. They don't need to be doing this. And he throws Ahriman, Magnus, and the whole Thousand Sons under the bus. And Lehman Russ does the same. They talk about the blood changes, the genetic deformities of the Thousand Sons, which is absolutely ridiculous and hilarious coming from the Space Wolves who have the wolfen. Literally, their genetic material breaks down their minds. And just like the Thousand Sons who have the flesh change, the wolfen have the flesh change. And they literally start turning into not rabid, but unthinking wolves. At least with the flesh change, most of them, as far as I can tell, keep their minds. The Space Wolves that turn and become wolfen, they are lost completely as far as I know. I mean, there's stories in 40K of them having to be put down hard. And then you had later on, when Ahriman is trying to put together the soul pieces of Magnus again, and the Space Wolves are trying to stop them, and they're having to deal with Psychers and some of Malkador's agents at the same time. One of Malkador's agents who is helping the Space Wolves try and prevent Ahriman from reassembling Magnus's shards, is a psyker and an ultramarine. And at some point, this whole time, while they're in a psychic prison, the Space Wolves are running around using a word I'd never heard before until this book, Maleficarum. Maleficarum this, Maleficarum that, torturing people to shitting back about Maleficarum. And Maleficarum literally is just any magic that the Space Wolves don't agree with or don't recognize. Any psychic use of any mental powers at all that the Space Wolves do not recognize or know is Maleficarum. And these are the same dudes who, by the way, murder they murder Malcador's agent, one of the original Grey Knights, by the way. I mean, you would say even before the Grey Knights. Murdered him just because of what some fucking demon told him about what this guy did. He straight up murders one of the most powerful Ultramarine psychers because of Maleficarum. I mean, the Space Wolves in this series and 30K have been absolutely ridiculous. And then we get to the part where Corvus Corax shows up to find Horus after Horus goes, to find Leman Russ after Leman Russ goes to confront Horus. And he finds him, Leman's half dead, and the welcome he gets from the Space Wolves when he's really just helped them out of a bad situation and reinforced them as a worse situation is approaching. And the way that they treat the Raven Guard and the rest and Corvus is just ridiculous. They have this puffed up opinion of themselves in 30K that is unimaginably, to me, it's grating. And I really didn't even enjoy most of the stories with them in it, other than the fact that I could laugh about them, what's this shit, Maleficarum. It's so hypocritical that it's almost funny, actually. But anyways, yeah, so when Corvus showed up to try and help his brother Leman after he's badly hurt by Horus, and the Space Wolves don't want to let Corvus anywhere near him. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll enjoy this and the Space Wolves more as we get into 40K, which I'm going to be doing shortly. I'm just about finished with some of the... I've been off track, but I'm finishing and working on some of the Horus Heresy Siege books now, so hopefully I'll be finished with those maybe this weekend or beginning of next week. But y'all have to, y'all who've read the books yourselves or listened to the audio books, did you not have the same type of feelings when it came to the Space Wolves and just how annoying and ridiculously hypocritical they could be? And that's not even to mention the actual fight between Leman Russ and Magnus. I mean, Magnus is literally melting the sky, fucking turning faces into rubber and burnt ash and nothing. He's turning the waters into poisons and acid, as killing everybody. And yet, Leman Russ is able to stand in the middle of all that and take it. Leman Russ is so warpy. Even his wolves, at one point Ahriman is looking into the wolves, and Ahriman can see things, deeper than genes, deeper than blood and bone. And what he sees in those wolves is not normal, right? I mean, it's hinted at that they are 100% warp something. So everything about Leman Russ and the Space Wolves is warpy as fuck. They are practicing voodoo, druidism, warp magic that comes from Fenris that looks exactly like all the other psychic powers being used by everybody else. But theirs is special and different because Leman Russ, the executioner's blade, the Lord of Storm and Winter and War, said so. And well, shit, motherfucker, he usually has the chops, literally, to back it up. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you felt the same when you were going through the series or the heresy. Get up there and hit that subscribe button. We'll be coming at y'all with Weed and Warhammer every Wednesday, and at least 2 or 3 other videos a week just because. I really enjoy doing these. I do these for fun with y'all. If anybody, I had a few asking me about the other channel, Chronic Pain Warriors United. It's an advocacy channel. I'd really appreciate anybody who wants to show support and come and join us and help us with that. But for all y'all here to relax, kick back, smoke some weed, and listen to this dude with the slightly southern twang say y'all and talk about the deeper depths of Warhammer 40K whenever the fuck I can. I'm down for it, and I'm glad y'all are here, and I'm really happy to have you. So, get up there, hit that subscribe button, get down in the comments, and let me know what you thought. Let me know what you were smoking on tonight and all that good stuff. Hit that like button. I'm Marlon. We'll talk to y'all very soon. We appreciate you. Cheers.